Hey, what's going on in New York? Let me tell you why, or let me show you why it's important for y'all to vet and then to look at the person that y'all following for advice on how it is that you're supposed to live your life based off of their fruits. God said you'll know them based off of their fruit, not necessarily how well they talk to you. He didn't say I couldn't cuss to you. He said they'll know you by your fruit. They'll know you by your fruit. This man right here, and you are right, Fa Brown, he was on Joe Rogan, turned into a community activist. And then this is what they found. Check it out. Over in New York, y'all New York cats is wild. Shout out to the East Coast, man.
Police make an arrest after a human torso and foot were found inside a building in the Bronx.
The suspect has been identified as Sheldon Johnson, a criminal justice activist who previously served time in prison.
All right, Fox 5's Linda Schmidt live in the High Bridge section of the Bronx tonight with more on this surprising turn of events. Linda.
A criminal justice advocate. Does that sound familiar from all of y'all other leaders? And I'm not saying y'all other leaders got body parts in their apartment or nothing like that. I'm just saying you'll know them by their fruits.
Yeah, certainly surprising. Well, first of all, this guy said he had turned his life around after spending most of his adult life in prison. In fact, just last year, he started working with the Queens Public Defender's Office. Well, now he is accused of shooting a man in the head in the apartment building right here behind me and then dismembering his body. 48-year-old Sheldon Johnson of Harlem is charged with murder and concealment of a human corpse.
Harlem? Hey, Fa Brown, ain't that where Dame is from? No matter where. We get into that in after hours tonight. We'll talk about it on after hours.
This is Johnson recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, talking about how he had turned his life around after a life of crime. He was working with troubled youth with the Queens Public Defender's Office. The shirt he is wearing says Queens Defenders.
He was working with children. You know how y'all always getting on me and saying, man, anybody can turn their life around and then be able to say whatever. Listen, bro. I heard that shit before. I'm not going for it. You're talking to the wrong one. I look at your fruits. I look at your life work. I look at your background. See, you can look at my real name and see who I am. But it's a lot of y'all that's getting finessed by these ex-cons. Meanwhile, they have no problem resorting to who they used to be, taking you out, shooting you in the head, and then cutting your body up, according to what the news is saying.
I got into school. I got my GED. From there, I got involved in correspondence courses.
What's up,
I started
Fab?
interacting with guys who were teaching ART, aggression replacement training, and I started to begin to understand how these concepts work, what positive visualization is, deep breathing.
You see how these guys talk? I'm telling you, they sound just like these Hotep, Black Israelite, peace and Pan-Africanism dude. Not my dog Pan-African. Whole nother conversation. But the point of the matter, they all talk the same. They use words that are 3 or more syllables, and they get deep into all of these different meanings and throw this word salad at you. They say it 3 times again so you can understand, overstand, and understand. Meanwhile, they cutting up bodies inside of their apartment building. And that's only the thing that we know that he got caught for. That's not the things that everything that we know. That's just what he got caught for. They all talk the same. You know what I'm saying? And I finally met a man that taught me APD, decriminalization optics, and what someone like, man, shut up, bro. Where the bodies at? They all talk the same, and they're all hypocritical. They all talk the same.
How to remove yourself, conflict resolution.
Well,
conflict
resolution.
resolution.
Life of crime.
All of them is 3 syllable or more words. Resolution, de-escalation.
Apparently was not over. He is accused of shooting 44-year-old Colin Small in the head in Small's 6th floor apartment on Summit Avenue and then dismembering his body. Detectives combing over potential evidence again today. Inside the apartment in the High Bridge section of the Bronx, a law enforcement source telling me they found a man's torso and foot in a plastic storage bin. Investigators also found the victim's head, legs, and arms in Johnson's freezer in his apartment building in Harlem. The superintendent of the
Shout out to Harlem.
victim's apartment building saying a neighbor heard gunshots, and surveillance video tells the story.
The tenant of the apartment, he came in, he never came out. So I called police because it's suspicious.
The super providing me with these surveillance pictures inside the building that allegedly show Johnson carrying bags in and out of the apartment building the day of the murder and changing his clothes several times, as well as wearing disguises.
Is that a wig? This man got on a blonde wig. Hold on. Shout out to Harlem. Shout out to Harlem. This man got on a blonde wig. Dismembering people, killing them, and didn't think nobody heard the gunshot inside of the apartment building. Somebody called, thank God for neighbors. This is why you need to be nosy. I believe in snitching. Yes, I do. I believe that snitches is one of the greatest things that God placed on this earth because it is the thing that keeps us safe. See, if everybody just want to mind your business, don't say nothing, then that means that everybody is just getting chopped up inside of apartment buildings and then being carried out with blonde wigs on. Tell on them. Listen, y'all are civilians. You ain't do no criminal activity with this man. We got to redefine what the definition of snitching was. My original definition of snitching, I believed, was when somebody does something with somebody in crime and then they tell on the person in order to get a lighter sentence. That's what I thought snitching was. Now, y'all then took it to a whole nother extreme, but the reality is that this man is walking in and out with a blonde wig on. With a blonde wig on, walking out with somebody's body, torso, head, and legs, cut up the penis and everything. Just went on ahead and just strode on out of Harlem.
Now, today I also reached out to the Queens Public Defender's Office where Sheldon Johnson had been working, but they had no comment.
And this dude had a job at the Queens Public Defender's Office. Jesus Christ.
On his behalf, speak to his character.
In court tonight, a slew of supporters showing up for a man accused of a gruesome crime. 48-year-old.
This is the community. Did y'all see the community? Let me show y'all the community again. Let me show you how we stay on code. Hold on, give me a second. A slew of supporters. Not one, not just his mama, everybody. They don't mind getting on camera in public. This is the community. A slew of supporters showing up in order to make sure that they hold this man down that was just cutting up bodies inside of his apartment building. Shout out to Harlem. Ain't y'all proud of the community? Y'all not proud of the community? All right, let's just see what they're going to say.
Slew of supporters showing up for a man accused of a gruesome crime. 48-year-old Sheldon Johnson charged with murdering a man and then dismembering his body. Innocent. Earlier today, Johnson declared his innocence to reporters as he was led away in handcuffs. The charges are shocking considering what he is now most well known for. That's Johnson appearing on the popular Joe Rogan podcast, talking about his efforts to reform himself and help other kids detach themselves from gang life. It's a job he's uniquely qualified for after spending 25 years in prison for attempted murder as a high-ranking member of the Bloods gang.
Let's continue.
But police say this is also him here on Summit Avenue Tuesday night, carrying cleaning supplies and a full black garbage bag going in and out of this building. Police were called to apartment 6G after a neighbor heard gunshots and saw Johnson in and out of the apartment. She told the building super.
My gut feeling was like, this is not good. I've been a super for almost going to 30 years, and that's not normal behavior.
When police entered the apartment, they found a man's torso and 2 feet in a bin.
But he innocent though. Hold on, wait. Listen. When the police entered the apartment, he found a man's torso and both of his feet. And he had already been working feverishly. In order to make sure that he got this thing done. They found some feet and a torso. Jesus Christ.
Enforcement sources say after seeing Johnson on surveillance footage, they searched his apartment and found the victim's legs, arms, and head in the freezer.
That's very disturbing.
Yeah.
It makes you want to move real quick.
Police say the victim is 44-year-old Colin Small. Prosecutors say Johnson tried to disguise himself with the victim's clothing and a blonde wig at one point. Folks in the neighborhood shocked to hear that a man who had worked so hard to turn his life around, even working with the Queen's Defender's Office, might have fallen back to his old ways in a very violent fashion.
Yes, he was turning himself around and stuff like that, but remember, we're creatures of habit. So whatever happened in his violent past probably crept back up, and there you go.
Sources say Johnson and the victim knew each other from prison, and this dispute might have been related to that. Johnson was remanded. His attorney and the Queen's defenders had no comment.
Shout out to the community, or like as I like to say it, the community. Shout out to the community for holding each other down, showing up in support, because we know that he didn't do anything wrong. We only found a couple feet and some torsos, some head, legs. We only found a couple things. Man trying to get out, disguising, cleaning supplies, removing stuff. Don't worry about it. Human life, it's not a big deal.